Welcome, everyone. This is Jordan with Food Bevy, the online community for food and beverage founders. And today I'm talking with Ashley, founder of BTR Bar. And Ashley, welcome. I'm so excited to hear your story and your journey. So we'd love for you to give a quick intro of what your product is and how you got started.
Thank you so much, Jordan. I am such a big fan of Food Bevy, so it's such an honor to be here. So, thank you for having me. And I'd love to tell you a little bit more, and everyone out there, a little more about BTR Bar. So, BTR actually stands for Be Bold, Tenacious, and Resilient. It's also, a clever play on the word better. So we actually have some customers that are like, "Oh, I get it. I get it now. It's a better bar and it's BTR bar." So dual meaning there. So, but I actually started the company as a tribute to my parents. So be bold, tenacious, and resilient was actually their personal mantra. And they probably said that thousands of times when I was a child growing up, and, really just to help me stay motivated and to just, crush it. And a little over 5 years ago, both of my parents were diagnosed with rare forms of cancer. And the company is a complete tribute to them. So I actually thought of the idea for BTR bars about 5 years ago. I was just constantly on the go, eating hospital vending machine food, and I was their primary caretaker. And I have a background in food science and nutrition and biochemistry, and I was really looking for a truly better for you snack option that was higher in protein, lower in sugar. This was really before the better for you movement took off, and superfoods and adaptogens and all of these things have now become super trendy. But with my food science background, I was super interested in, cordyceps and lion's mane. This was about over 5 years ago. And it was, new at the time, but I, was starting to write down ideas for recipes. And that's how, fast forward 5 years later, that's how BTR Bar was born. I decided it's finally time to just, what better time than in a pandemic to make this switch and to really live out my parents' legacy and really make sure that everything I do for the company, from the packaging to the handwritten notes, it's really all, in their legacy. So yeah, so that's why I started the company. And so it's super, super personal to me, everything that I do. And the bars themselves are actually functional superfood and adaptogen powered bars. So every bar has a different purpose. And actually, these are the two bars that I'm about to eat right now. So we actually have three that we just launched with. But we have an energy bar that is boosted with maca, cordyceps, hemp protein, cinnamon. So all energy boosting superfoods and adaptogens. We have a recharge bar, which is a brain boosting bar. So it's got lion's mane and MCT oil. And that's a dark chocolate brownie. So people love that because it's like their little dark chocolate fix after lunch. And then we have our Zen bar, which is our cherry chocolate chip bar. So it's got tart cherry powder, pumpkin seed protein, high in magnesium, reishi mushroom. So all really amazing superfoods and adaptogens to help you relax and chill out. So yeah, that's all about us. And we are keto friendly, vegan. We really check a lot of boxes because I want people to think about choosing this functionality as well as flavor. I think a lot of times people go to the store and they're like, "Oh, this cookies and cream bar sounds good," but what do they really need right now and what's going to make them feel good? So we really have these very unique flavors, but also meeting that functional need as well throughout the day.
That's amazing. And Ashley, you have such a powerful personal story on why you got into this and they're creating the bars in your parents' legacy. And so I think that's absolutely amazing. And the product itself is so right for the time that we're in right now because everyone's looking for really great tasting food, but also a way to get more out of this crazy time that they have, like mixing work and family and home life and everything all together. So I think that's amazing. And so cool that you actually just launched 5 weeks ago. So very kind of fresh in the space. But if someone were looking at it, you would think that you've been doing this for years. So talk a little bit about your experience leading up to this and what your journey was like once you decided that you wanted to actually start the company.
Yeah, it's a great question. And thank you so much. I've had such a very clear vision. I love the grocery space, and I love food and bev. And my experience is a little all over the place. So I have a background in biochemistry, food science, and nutrition, and then but my master's actually is in education and counseling. So I think that actually it comes through a lot with the relationships that I build and all of the influencers and our network. But I was super interested in going into higher education education and counseling when I was in college. I was one of those very over involved college students that worked. I was a resident assistant, so I was an RA. I, just loved the environment. I was a tour guide, so I loved just talking to, new prospective students and just helping guide people along their way. So I actually decided to take a little bit of a different career path, and I went to NYU, and I got my first master's at Rutgers University in higher education, and I was a residence hall director. So I managed all the dorms and lived in the dorms with the students for many years. And then when my parents were diagnosed with cancer, my life just, I was just totally shook and everything changed. And I really wanted to do something that was meaningful and really take a look more at food and wellness and nutrition and how how the food that we eat and put into our body, what that does for us. So I actually, was a part of a supplement startup for many years, and I, was one of the first hires and really helped, launch those products into the world. And I just became so fascinated with the CPG space. But my heart has always been in the food space because I'm a giant foodie, and I love the way that it tastes when you are eating food that feels good for your body, but it also is just so delicious. So I just, was so excited for the opportunity to do this, and, just really wanted to bring my parents' mission and this whole concept of snacking better to feel better to live your best life, aka bold, tenacious, and resilient, to the world. So I decided it was finally time to turn it on.
That's great. So you're a one-person show, and your husband you kind of dragged in to help out with
Yeah.
operations. That's how it works. And what are some of the resources that you found to make this happen in terms of the partners that you worked with along the way?
Yeah. So I was super clear about the packaging being is so vital to the company's success, because I really wanted, I see this company, we're starting direct to consumer, but I really want people to go into their local health food store, their Whole Foods, and be able to see the product on shelf and say, oh, I'm tired. I have brain fog. I want them to see the function from like down the aisle of the protein bar space. So that's really what I envisioned. And I knew to be able to get that job done, I knew I needed to invest and work with an awesome team. And I had mentioned to you, working with Riser Design. They're just so incredible. And they really love working with small, mission driven and purpose driven companies to really bring out what the vision that I had in my mind and, drew on paper, and being able to make that something that people just get immediately. So that's really, where we started, and, starting to make some strategic investments in PR, and really building connections, because I want to drive trial first and foremost. Once people try the bars, they are hooked. It's so interesting to see, because people, it's a protein bar, and people think protein bars, oh, okay, it's convenient, and, I'm just going to grab it on the go, but this isn't something that I would normally eat. But I really want people to think about their snack time, and kind of re-envisioning, snack time as this exciting time in their day where they can enjoy something that's delicious. And I don't like to say guilt free, because there's, all food is amazing, and, you should feel like you should be able to treat yourself. But being able to have a protein bar every day, or I mean, we have people that are eating these bars 2 and 3 times a day, including myself, and it's good for you, and they're getting those amazing superfoods and adaptogens to help them throughout their day and the tasks that they're doing. So
Well,
yeah, so packaging, PR, all good things.
let me just say that when I first found your brand, I was like on Instagram and I was looking through, I was like, this is so great. Like your brand, like vision and personality came through so clearly. And I remember looking through like, this is the coolest thing. I want to try it. I had no idea what you were actually selling. And there was actually like no reference to the actual bars at first, because you were
Right.
just like putting out really cool content.
Oh,
And
thank
then I
you.
was like, wait a second, like what is this? Like I want to try it no matter what it is that you're selling.
Oh, thank
So
you. That
I think
means
that's
so
so cool.
much. Instagram is so I run our social media, and it's really such an honor, because that is where you can talk to the customer directly. And, we've been taking some conversations off Instagram, and actually, like, I've been trying to call our customers and set up, just times to chat about the bars and what they like about them, what they want to see improved. And it's just been such a privilege to be able to connect with people on Instagram and tell our story through the content. So yeah, so I'm so happy to hear that.
I mean, that's a really cool point because a lot of brands view social media as a one-way channel where they create content and put it out into the world. And then that's it, right? You might like something, but they don't actually engage with their customers or even like the followers and check out their content. So talk about like your strategy a little bit in terms of like making that social media experience more social for your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know down the line I might have to hire someone to assist with this, which would make sense as we grow. But I really try to carve out a few hours in the early morning and then a few hours very late at night. So usually some people will get messages from me and it's like 2 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And they're like, I'm waking up right now because they're on the East Coast. So that's always enjoyable. But I think it's so important to just create these organic relationships with people on Instagram. They're people. So, I don't want people to think about BTR Bar and know it's a person behind the brand. So, that's been so critical to me from the very beginning. So, I talk to a lot of I've built this brand ambassador, or our VIP squad. We like to call them hashtag team better. And, I've built this super organically and just by engaging with them with their own content. So it has nothing to do with the bars. It has nothing to do with superfoods. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I love reishi mushrooms, my favorite mushroom. And it is my favorite mushroom. So I'll, leave a comment about that. But most of the time I'll go and, I'll watch their stories and just talk to them about their day and, hear how they're doing. And it takes time. And I know that that's not necessarily something that's going to maybe it generates revenue, but that's not the goal. The goal is really to build these organic relationships and get to know them as friends. And I've actually made several really good friends by just meeting them on Instagram. And I'm excited for, when things hopefully, fingers crossed, start to quiet down in 2021 and travel just becomes a little bit more open and normal again, that I'll be traveling but to our cities with our all of our customers and holding meetups and getting to know people. And we're holding a virtual happy hour for the holidays in a month or so. And that I just want to try to get to that FaceTime so they customers want to talk to brands and feel like there's people behind them. So that's been the goal, is making us this we want to be your best friend. And it's so true. I love engaging with people. And I think that's from my education background. I really think that comes because that's all we did in counseling and education, is you just sit and all day from 9 to 5 and just have conversations with students and get to know who they are and figure out what their goals are. And that's what I love. That's actually my favorite part of the job, is just getting to know people on Instagram.
That's so powerful. And looking back, you've been in business now for and launched for 5 weeks, which is basically like a lifetime. And what does the next 6 weeks to 6 months look like for BTR Bar?
Such a good question. I think the next 6 weeks look like surviving Black Friday. So that's really been, I'm just really trying to think about how to make Black Friday, Cyber Monday something that's brand new and exciting for our customers, as opposed to here's 30% off. And that's great. We want to make sure our price point's pretty accessible as it is. Our bars are 275 a bar. It's pretty accessible. And, we want to give discounts and make it exciting for people to buy and give them opportunity to try. But I want to try to do something else. So that's really been the goal, is thinking about the rest of Q4 and how we're going to continue to connect with our customers, drive more customers to the site, and just be a resource for people in Q4 and build our email list and just get to know people. So that's really been my first number one priority. But long term, thinking now into 2021, is really where we're starting to have initial conversations with retailers. We want to be where our customers are. So just in our Instagram stories, I just posted all about, like, what stores do you want to see us in 2021? And we had over 100 responses from customers who are like, I want to see you in Sprouts, I want to see you in Whole Foods, I want you to be here. And we know that we need to be in those places in order for people to just say, oh, I'm out of BTR bars, let me grab a couple. And knowing that we created those connections through our social media, through our online platform, but that they can find us everywhere. So 2021 is where we're hoping to open more and more retail doors. And in the meantime, Q4 is really trying to drive top of funnel and really get new customers to try the product and prep for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is in a month.
So soon. Well, Ashley, this has been
So
so
soon.
much fun talking with you. I could probably talk with you for another hour or so.
Oh,
But
likewise.
this has been amazing in hearing your story. So Ashley from BTR Bar. Thanks so much for being on today.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Such a privilege and such an honor.